local pro-Palestinian groups still showing out.
It is our responsibility as workers to continue striking
as the region takes its first steps toward peace. Another political enemy of the president indicted.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
By the same attorney who sought charges on James Comey. As birthright citizenship heads to the Supreme Court.
People who think that this would not affect them, congratulations, it would.
Local advocacy groups are sounding the alarm. Our DC Bureau is live. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Good morning, South Florida. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicolette Esper.
And I'm Brenda Miranda. Today is Friday, October 10, 2025.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
A late-night decision from Israel's government could mark a major turning point in the conflict with Hamas. Israeli troops are pulling back this morning in Gaza amidst a ceasefire resolution.
Palestinians are moving back north as the withdrawal continues. The Israeli government voted on the measure late Thursday with a 24-hour window mandated by the Israeli High Court. During that time, petitions objecting the deal can be submitted. Once that window closes, the resolution calls for Hamas to release all hostages within 72 hours. 2 days after the 2-year anniversary of the beginning of the Israel-Hamas war, the Young Democratic Socialists of America organized a pro-Palestine protest outside the Graham Center at FIU on Thursday. They celebrated the announcement of a ceasefire. Caplin reporter Oriana Reda takes us to the scene.
We are here at FIU MMC campus outside the Graham Center, where the Young Democratic Socialists of America have organized a pro-Palestine protest.
The student-run organization looks at the Israel-Hamas war under a socialist lens. Advocating for the sovereignty of the Palestinian people, they seek justice and accountability from Israeli authorities who have imposed this military strategy on the Gaza Strip. They spoke of the intersectionality of this issue with other world conflicts like the Sudan and Congo civil wars and the ICE raids going on in the United States. YDSA co-chair Elle Licht gave her take on how citizens can use their civic power to influence change.
I think it is our responsibility as workers to continue striking, as students to continue protesting, and use our power to demand a free Palestine and for accountability for the war crimes. As laborers, we make the world go around, and our production is what is responsible for the profits that the U.S. sees and organize for strikes for Palestine, like we saw the Italian dock workers do. We can achieve so much more than we think we can.
Towards the end of the protest, other students in support of Israel gathered and exchanged views with the protesters. The students discussed differing narratives and how to obtain objective information amongst biased accounts, and finished by shaking hands and walking away with new perspectives to reflect on.
Who's right or wrong? Who is coming up with the information that says that there is starvation and malnutrition in Gaza?
The UN said that.
United Nations.
Sure.
The same United Nations that came out with a report that said that over 80% of the food that comes into Gaza is intercepted by Hamas. That same United Nations.
When was that report?
2 weeks ago. The week of the General Assembly. Check.
I have to check.
Same United Nations, over 80% used.
The student organization has a specific set of demands, one of which being to make the university a sanctuary campus in order for Palestinian and immigrant students to feel like they have a safe space to openly critique the government policies.
A federal judge Thursday issued a temporary order that stopped President Trump from deploying National Guard troops in the state of Illinois. In response, the Trump administration filed an appeal. The judge says there's no credible evidence of a rebellion and sending troops could escalate tensions. The administration argues troops are needed to stop violence in Democratic-led cities. A similar case in Oregon is still pending. Meanwhile, protests outside ICE facilities in Portland and Chicago suburbs have become flashpoints in the president's crackdown.
New York Attorney General Letitia James is under pressure this morning after being indicted by the Justice Department. The indictment came down yesterday. James has been under investigation since May due to a loan she took out to buy a house in Virginia. She faces charges of bank fraud and false statements to a financial institution.
So today I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights. And I will continue to do my job.
The indictment alleges that a house she purchased as a second residence in Norfolk was actually rented out to families and that she realized improper gains.
President Trump's fight against birthright citizenship continues as the Supreme Court considers the case in its new terms, but South Florida immigration groups are weary of the potential outcome.
D.C. Bureau reporter Devasna Bisindio is at the Supreme Court and has more.
Good morning, that's right. I spoke with two immigrant advocacy groups who say that no matter the decision, immigrant rights would be chipped away.
If they decide to reinterpret the 14th Amendment, it's going to lead to that conversation of who is good enough.
Yarelis Mendez-Zamora of American Friends Service Committee Florida was born here and would be considered a birthright citizen because her mother is an immigrant from Nicaragua. Yarelis says she and many immigrants in South Florida are worried about what the Supreme Court case would mean for future immigration issues such as TPS and student visas.
Florida really is, especially when we're talking about South Florida, really is an international demographic. And so people who think that this would not affect them, congratulations, it would.
While the lower courts have blocked President Trump's executive order challenging birthright citizenship, over a century of legal precedent may be overturned if the Supreme Court sides with the administration. According to the American Immigration Council, millions of U.S.-born children would be at risk of being denied citizenship, creating a vulnerable, stateless population.
I wouldn't put it past them to pull out all the stops in order to see through their immigration agenda.
Adriana Rivera is the communications director of the Florida Immigrant Coalition. She says the organization is educating immigrants on the purpose of the 14th Amendment and what the different branches of government are legally allowed to do. But she also says that with the Trump administration's past record, no one seems to be safe.
People shouldn't get comfortable because I think that this is just the first thing that they're gonna do, and then after that they'll come after a lot more people.
Now, this isn't the first time that the Supreme Court has ruled on birthright citizenship. They've agreed to hear this new case. However, they haven't scheduled it on their calendar as yet. A decision is expected as late as next summer. Reporting at the Supreme Court, I'm Devasna Bisindio, Caplin News.
It's time to get your dancing shoes out of the closet because one of South Florida's most colorful and celebrated events is back, Miami Carnival. The festival honors Caribbean heritage and it's full of dancing, Afro beats, and much more. Caplin's Elena Lava gives us the preview for the energy.
Colorful costumes, pulsating music, and Caribbean pride are about to take over Miami. With Miami Carnival just around the corner, organizers are putting the final touches on one of the city's biggest cultural celebrations. Miami Broward One Carnival has been part of South Florida for over 40 years and is the event that people come back to for showcasing Caribbean culture.
You have not only Carnival, when people come out to our Miami Carnival, they get to enjoy the Sunshine State. Okay, so that's unique in itself. Again, we, Miami Carnival, introduced the first two-stage event in Miami Carnival. We have the mass stage where all the masqueraders go in and they perform on the stage, and simultaneously you have a music stage where you have all the different music from the Caribbean.
South Florida is home to one of the largest Caribbean populations in the United States, with over 864,800 Caribbean immigrants. The highest share among all U.S. counties, representing 20% of the total Caribbean foreign-born population. Miami Carnival has gone beyond being a place for culture to be seen, but a platform for artists to showcase their talent and love for their culture.
It's really the foundation or establishment of the community, of the Caribbean community. Right? Once you get to a carnival, it means that there's a togetherness. That means that there are more than just one of us here. Right? It means that, you know, we could probably go and celebrate our culture on the street and show the community amongst us who we are.
After a long time planning, John Hinkson, the Miami Carnival organizer, is looking forward to this year's carnival. Make sure to acquire your tickets at the Miami Carnival Festival. This is Elena Lava for Caplin News.
Well, Brenda, if you know me and my Haitian roots, you know I love some good compa dances. But before that, Eric Spoelstra is set to take a big seat in a major sporting event.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
Aquí estamos en shock de alegría todos también.
And the Nobel Peace Prize goes out to? Find out who when Newsbreak comes back in 2 minutes.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every day.
Millions of people are connected.
A big announcement from Oslo today recognizing a prominent voice in Venezuela's political landscape. The Nobel Peace Prize winner for this year is Venezuela opposition leader Maria Corina Machado.
According to the Nobel Committee, Machado helped to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. In a clip, her reaction to the prize can be heard as she calls fellow opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez, who is now in exile.
Aquí estamos en shock de alegría todos también, ¿sabes? Esto es un...
Machado has been in hiding for months in Venezuela. It is unclear if she will attend the prize ceremony in December.
Tonight, Argentina and Venezuela will play at the Hard Rock Stadium in a friendly match. The Albiceleste and the Vino Tinto will face off in a game full of history and revenge. The last time the two teams met was on September 4th in Buenos Aires for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Argentina secured its spot in the World Cup, but Venezuela missed out by 2 points. Kickoff is at 8 p.m.
Miami Heat's head coach is expected to coach the U.S. men's basketball team in the 2028 Olympics. Eric Spoelstra is getting a new title, Team USA head coach. The Heat leader will replace Steve Kerr and guide the national team at the World Cup and 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. Newsbreak will be back in just 2 minutes. Well, that's all the time we have for Newsbreak today. I'm Nicolette Esper.
And I'm Brenda Miranda. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.